Hello. I just went out and I got Thai for dinner. And as I was walking to grab Thai, I walked in and I saw this person who is from Uber Eats or DoorDash picking up the delivery order. And I had a flashback to when I was doing DoorDash delivery for trying to earn money back probably like 3 years ago. And it made me want to share and encourage anyone who's currently in a stage of life where they just don't know if it's going to happen. It's Sunday like evening-ish, and I'm just sitting in my car. I decided to try and do some more food delivery, make a little bit more cash. Tonight, it's weird. I kind of feel this, like, is there ever going to be a point where I don't, need to be doing all these things to earn what I want to earn? It made me want to just share 3 things about my journey in the last 3 years that has allowed me to go from doing DoorDash delivery and cleaning houses and being a server assistant to now having a dream job, working remotely. And I just paid like $13,000 of debt off in the last 2 months. And so what I thought I would do is, because I'm in Toronto this weekend for like a two-day getaway, and I can share with you the 3 things that really has helped me. And I really wish somebody had turned to me 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and just said, girlfriend, here's the things. You're going to be fine. Here's the things I want you to know. So that's what I want to do. So let's go do it. I'm going to eat dinner and we'll just enjoy a really beautiful couple days together. Good morning. I am up quite early this Friday morning and wanted to go get a walk in because I don't currently live in Toronto and I really miss going for walks around Toronto. So out catching the early morning sun, clearly terribly out of breath, and also I'm gonna go to one of my favorite coffee shops in Toronto. Just follow me, and then we're going to talk about the first thing that has really helped me create the life I currently have, which is changing my environment.
He's like, I have the pasta immigration here.
Okay, it was way too cold out there. I was hoping to like sit on a bench and have like this nice little chit chat. It was way too cold, so I'm back. And let's talk about number one. Number one thing. One of the 3 things that I think has really helped me go from delivering, like doing DoorDash and cleaning houses and being a serving assistant for restaurants, to now having my dream job, working remotely, and I just paid like $13,000 of debt off in the last 2 months. It has been, the first thing I would say is changing my environment. So I was extremely depressed about 6 years ago. I was living in Guelph, which is like a town I never wanted to be in, and I just felt extremely stuck. And I read this book called Willpower is Not The Answer or something like that by Benjamin Hardy. And he was saying in that book how there's only, like, willpower isn't the answer, but actually, more importantly, it's your environment. And it just hit me then. I was like, Dominic, I've been trying to start a business and make money and change everything. But what I think I need to do is change my environment. Like, I need to move from a place that has been really hard and difficult for me. And I just need to figure out how to move. And so within I think a month of making that, like reading that book, I had moved into Toronto, into this house that had this, it didn't even have a room for me. I just lived in the basement beside a cat litter box. Well, I was painting houses at the time, but I was really frustrated because I've been doing that for like 10 years. It never been something I wanted to be in. I was afraid I was going to be stuck forever. And so I just moved. And changing that environment impacted everything. Like, I was so much more alive. I was so much more happier with my life. I was excited. And I was no longer taking all my willpower and strength and energy to just like get through the day, which is what had been happening in Guelph. But because I was like excited to be where I'd always wanted to be, and I just made it happen, all that energy that used to just go into like surviving, I was able to feed into doing new things. And so when I moved to Toronto, that's when I started TaskRabbit, and I started cleaning people's houses. And I was like, oh, okay, like I don't have to be painting. I wanted to get out of painting. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I knew I wanted to do that. So then I started cleaning houses, which helped me make money additionally there. And this is my second tip that I'm going to tell people. And I might be giving it away a bit early in the video because I was hoping to do like a different thing. But my second tip was giving up how I thought things were going to look. So stay tuned. But this was my second thing, I think, that really impacted my ability to go from changing my environment, cleaning houses, and then a couple years in, I was really tired of cleaning houses. I also felt stuck. And then by doing this thing, which is giving up how I thought things should look, I was able to start my freelance marketing business. So, little teaser, I actually have some work I need to do before I'm going to go grab brunch with a friend in about an hour. So I'm going to do some work, and I'll come back at some point today, and we'll talk about what I mean by giving up how I thought things should look. Till then, more coffee. I really need to break the habit of how much coffee I drink, but small steps. Okay. Well, I was supposed to go out for drinks with friends, but that changed, as frustrating as it is. So the good news is it's going to give me a lot more time to talk about number 2. And the second thing that really changed things for me was I gave up how I thought it should look. So I had like a really good job with some significant seniority and stuff, pretty young. And so it had set me up to really think that I would be, running companies and having all this seniority. And so when I exited that, when I was like 24, 25, I kind of expected the same thing to happen. But then I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. So then I went down the entrepreneurial path for a bit, and I tried to start an e-com business and a whole bunch of things. And so I just like meandered my way around for sales and everything. But I had it stuck in my head that like, I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, it needs to look this way. And if I give up on those dreams, I'm a failure. And so that led me into like a series of years that I was highly depressed. And I was just getting frustrated because felt like everything I was trying just wasn't working. And so I finally moved to Toronto, started cleaning people's houses, and then a couple years in, my sister was like, Dominique, why don't you try becoming a server, becoming a waitress? I think you'd be really great at it. I think it's flexible, etc. So I was like, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to give up not give up. I'm just going to reset everything I thought I needed to be doing and how I needed it to look, and then just see. So I started serving and I loved it. I loved it. It gave me the freedom and the flexibility to go and start freelancing. And the interesting thing was I really had to give up this like ego piece in my brain that was like, but Dominique, you're a business owner, and these people who come in that you're serving, think that they're all hot shots, and they're like hot shot lawyers, and they're hot shot this, and they just think you're a server, and they don't know. And it really was a bit of an ego hit for me. And at a certain point I was like, Dominique, like, you are on a journey, and part of the path of figuring out what resonates for you is trying things. And so I finally was able to release the expectation and the ego piece I had around my life needing to look a certain way, and me having a certain type of job, and me having a certain type of job title, and all of that, and just let it go and just start really enjoying what I was doing. I really enjoyed serving. I enjoyed going into work. I enjoyed serving people. I still would love to, honestly, keep doing it as a part-time job. And then I love the freedom it gave me. And so that space that it gave me was the space I needed to pursue starting to try other things. So I started freelancing. So I started an Upwork account, and I just started getting more and more marketing experience freelancing, and that took 2-3 years. And then I now have landed a job in a dream role of mine, in a dream company in San Francisco, remote, and it's beautiful. But I would never have gotten here had I not given up what I thought it needed to look like. And I had to let go of the identity piece, right? My identity for so long had been, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner, I'm doing big things. And so for this period of my life when on the surface it didn't look like I was doing big things, I was serving, I was working on building my Upwork profile, and that's all. I had to really release this ego piece of I'm this person, and I had to let go of that identity. But what's really beautiful now is I feel so much more freedom to be able to just like go and do the things I want to try, and go and do the things I want to do without it needing to fit in this box of like being a business owner and being a whatever it is. And I would just encourage you, like, if you are feeling stuck and you think you've tried everything, like, sit down and really have an honest conversation with yourself and just think, like, what am I so stuck on that it needs to look a certain way, right? Like, I was just telling a friend of mine who was also feeling stuck, like, if all you need to do is make an extra $1,000 a month, like, why don't you go clean houses on the weekend? Why don't you go deliver DoorDash? Because you're not stuck, and so much of your life decisions are impacted by you feeling like you're stuck. So you're not stuck, but I understand cleaning people's houses and DoorDashing is kind of like a conflict against what you think this identity of yourself is. But are we more committed to the identity of who we think in our heads, or are we more committed to the person we want to become, the outcome we desire? And sometimes that means releasing that identity that we have in our head. So that was number two that really shifted so much for me in the last 3 to 5 years and has allowed me to create like a really, really, really beautiful life. And we're gonna get into number three tomorrow, which is exciting. But I just want you to know, like, as you're listening to this, like, don't give up. That dream, that goal, that desire you have, don't give up. And it might look a different way than you thought it would look. But are you so stuck on it looking one way that you are going to not let it unfold in another beautiful way that it could? So we will keep doing this tomorrow. Good morning. It is Saturday morning. I am headed to brunch with friends, and the sun is out. So gorgeous. And then after brunch, when I come back and I'm packing up, well, the third thing that really has impacted my life, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm back. Have I worn the same shirt twice in a row in the last 2 days? Yes. Do I love the shirt? Yes. So I'm gonna keep wearing it. But just got back from brunch, which is so nice. Catch up with some friends I haven't seen in months. And then I'm going to clean up because I've been staying at a friend's house. So I'm gonna clean up because I have to catch the bus back to where I'm staying at the moment, home. So I'm gonna clean up, and then after I clean up, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about a number three thing that has really impacted my life and allowed me to create what I have at the moment. And that number three thing is being able to enjoy the journey. I know that sounds woo-woo, and if you're someone who's like, I hate this right now, I don't even, that's so unhelpful. What do you mean by enjoying the journey? I just want to not be living where I'm living, and I need to be making more money. You might think that's very unhelpful, but I promise you it's worth the listen. So come with me as I clean up, and then we'll sit down and chit chat. Okay, I'm back. So obviously I didn't record the third thing when I was in Toronto because I'm back home now. My third thing that has really got into me to where I am today is finding things that allow me to enjoy the current day today. Because I think the most important thing for me was extending my timeline for how long I had the ability to make things happen. And so partially because I have ADHD, but partially just a human experience is you really want what you want to happen right away. And developing patience, especially when you don't have evidence that what you want is able to happen, is extremely difficult. And so I had noticed about 5 years ago that my entire life was consumed with goals. Like it was like I was constantly just working on something. And at some point I woke up and I just was like, I'm just constantly working on something. Like I finished cycling across a province. Well, to be fair, it wasn't across a province. I cycled 1,100 kilometers to raise awareness about sex trafficking. And I finished that, it was huge. And then it was just like, and then I needed the next thing to do. It was like I constantly needed like a hit of goals. And I was like, well, I don't even know what I would do if I didn't have goals. Like I was like, I don't know how to enjoy my time in the day that I have. Like, if I'm not working on goals, what am I doing? And so I made a list of things that I was like, oh, like, what are some things I'd really enjoy doing? So I was like, maybe I'd enjoy going to museums and galleries. Turns out, didn't really like that. I was like, let me try learning guitar. Also, kind of found that frustrating. And then I started sketching, and I loved sketching. I loved, like, I would just turn on jazz music. I would get some wine and I would just sketch. And for like an hour, that I just was able to fully embrace that experience. And I wasn't looking forward to something, and I wasn't pushing for something. And it was just this like beautiful way to pause and just enjoy the experience of the day. And that ability to do that took me so many places. Like, I could take my sketchbook and I would take it to the park, and I would just like really enjoy this moment that I have never like really truly enjoyed. It was always like, oh, I'll go to the park, and then I'd sit and I'd always think about like, oh, what's my next thing? And I'm working towards this goal, and etc. And then I had this thing where I could just fully embrace whatever the time was in me sketching. And so I've kind of taken that on as the years have gone on. I've continued sketching. Recently, I've gone into watercolor. Like, look at these. And hot stuff. And I just love it. Like, and what it's given me is so much more patience for things to happen. Because before, I was so desperate. I needed it to happen. I needed it to happen. I needed it to happen. And I didn't have the ability to enjoy my life. And so it was like, I need these goals to happen, because that's how I'm going to enjoy my life. But finding ways to really thoroughly enjoy my life every day allowed me to have so much more patience and time to make things happen. And I started enjoying cooking. And so I would cook in the evenings, and I was just able to fill my life up with things I enjoyed doing in this moment. And so I wasn't so desperate to get out of this moment. And things take time. And before, I was just like, it's not happening. And if it didn't happen within a time frame that I needed it to happen, I was just like, this isn't working, and I wouldn't have the patience to continue. And so I would say that's my third thing. My third thing that has really got into me to where I am today is finding things that allow me to enjoy the current day today. And so by doing that, it gives me a lot more patience and a lot more ability to have a longer time horizon to make the things that I want happen. And so I would so strongly encourage you to go and try a bunch of things. I had to try a bunch of things. Like, I didn't know what I liked and what I would kind of pause time for me and just allow me to enjoy the moment. I tried a bunch of things, and I came across a couple of things that I really liked. And so I would just so strongly encourage you to take the time to find those things that light you up, and truly pause time for you every single day, and just allow you to pull joy and pull beauty from those moments. And so we're not so desperate to rush on to make those things that happen that we want in our life. And so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's funny because I started recording this video, and then obviously a couple days ago, and ever since, I've had like 3 or 4 conversations with close friends or family around these topics. And I just want you to know, you're not stuck. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're not a tree. You are not stuck. Let me say this to you. I'm gonna look right into the lens. It's just you and me, baby, in this moment. You are not stuck. You are not a tree. You are not rooted in the ground. You may feel like you're stuck, but you always, always have an option. And sometimes that option is making options for yourself. So know you are a beautiful human and you are your own muse. And we are responsible and excited to create our own beautiful lives. And so I'm happy that you're joining me along the journey of just creating beautiful, memorable, joy-filled lives. Until next time, bye.